Susan Gardner here for Municipal World. We're at the 2019 conference of the Municipal Innovators community in the District of Muskoka. Joining me in the Municipal World Media Center is Rob Adams, CAO for the town of Whitchurch-Stouffville.
Hi, Susan. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here.
Yeah, I just want to say right off the start, Municipal World does so many good things out in the municipal sector, providing us with really useful information and just helping educate us and sharing all the ideas that other municipalities are working on. So kudos to you and your team.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
You're too kind. Well, you're kind of on the cutting edge of innovative stuff yourself, Rob, I would say. So we wanted to have you in and talk a little bit about that. And you and I connected last year. We both were at the Mike conference in Calgary,
yeah.
Right. So let's talk about what happened after Mike 2018.
Well, I got really inspired by the event in Calgary. Mike was fantastic. The city of Calgary did a terrific job. And what I did, I was trying to create an environment where people were empowered. It was a safe environment in the municipal sector in Grey Highlands. And so I was already working on those things, but I came back really inspired about innovation. And innovation doesn't have to be technology. It can be as simple as finding a better method to do things, a more efficient way of doing things, and maybe providing a better service to our customers, the residents. And so I came back and I shared a lot of the things that I learned there, and we started to talk and build that culture of innovation in the municipality. And so then things started to take off on their own, because when you create that environment, that empowering culture, people really start to eventually buy into it. And they start to take risks, believe it or not. They start to try new ways of doing things. And so we had a number of innovations that happened, but probably the most notable one that was actually featured in Municipal World magazine and won an award at AMCTO and as well at AMO was the innovation of our municipal app. And simply what happened was a couple of our staff people, we had a new person in customer service, and our deputy clerk had a little bit of background in IT, and our clerk a little bit as well. They started to work on ideas around how they could do a municipal app. And it was as simple as throwing some ideas out there, sharing them with each other, and then starting to ideate and look at how that could happen. And then they actually came up with a couple of prototypes, bounced it off various people, and lo and behold, for less than $1,500, we had a municipal app that would do everything from pay your taxes online, pay a water bill on time online, get a burn permit, report potholes that need to be filled, check activity schedules for the municipality, all those kinds of things. So it just showed that if people are empowered and they were encouraged, that we could come up with new ways of doing things.
So what did you do, any leadership tips here? What did you do to kind of create this safe space for people to experiment and kind of step out on a limb a little bit and try something new?
Well, we're under so much pressure to deliver more to the public, and especially our councils are expecting us to deliver more, sometimes with less. So we need to work really hard at creating the right culture. So that means empowering people, allowing them to do their job and encouraging them to do that. That gives them a signal that they can do it, that they're capable, and then praising them when they have wins, finding those wins and encouraging that, and then encouraging them that it's okay to take risks. It's okay to try things and you may not get it right. And when they fail at things, encourage them on how they could do it differently maybe next time, or what they learned from the experience, so that it's a positive, not a negative. And then the other thing is communicate. You need to communicate the things that are going on in the municipality. You need to communicate how you're feeling about the things that they're trying. And that builds trust. When you have a good relationship of trust in the organization, then people feel empowered to take some risks and try some things. And then it's just an explosion, Susan. It's amazing how the team just takes off and succeeds in so many different ways when you create the right culture.
So obviously some great results that you experienced in Grey Highlands with this project. You've moved on to a new gig now as a CAO of Whitchurch-Stouffville. How is innovation playing out in your new role and the philosophy that you're bringing there?
Well, I'm really excited to be in Whitchurch-Stouffville. The municipality is prime for building trust and building that culture, and we're already working very hard at that foundational piece. But surprisingly, people in our organization are grabbing hold of it and they want to innovate. We actually had 2 people who are here at the Mike conference because they wanted to be involved in innovation. People have been sending me ideas because they read, before I arrived there, they'd read the Municipal World article about the app. So people are really enthusiastic because I guess the positive thing is they can see from the top down their support for innovation, which is critical in the organization. So we're just getting going, but we already have a lot of really good ideas. We have terrific response from people. And so we have some pretty fantastic things happening around innovation in Whitchurch-Stouffville. Maybe we'll be up for an award next year.
Okay, we'll be watching for that. One of the things that you kind of touched on earlier is that innovation isn't always technology. And in fact, you were recently speaking at the Municipal Finance Officers Association conference about taking an innovative approach to presenting numbers. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure, I'd love to, Susan. And I think you're absolutely right that innovation isn't always technology. Sometimes it's just how we do things. And so the session that I did was from having a political background as well as being a CAO, trying to give the staff people who were there a perspective that sometimes presenting financial numbers can be very complicated.
Yes.
It can be the same with technology and providing data. And so it's so important that we look at how we communicate those things and how people receive it, because not everyone has a logical kind of mind that they can see data and gather information very easily. So we need to communicate in other ways.
So I'm just going to jump in for folks who may not know. Your background isn't simply limited to this senior administrative role. You have this municipal political background as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of a unique CAO who's, 20 years of political experience, now a CAO, but I've also worked in the private sector for most of my career. So I bring kind of a different perspective to the job. But I worked in technology companies where you needed to innovate every day because within a year you could be out of business. And I think in the public sector, we tend not to do that as much. But if we can encourage our people to do it, we can be more successful. So the piece that I was doing at MFOA was to try to teach people who are financial people, who understand the numbers, how they need to communicate to their council to be successful, giving them tips around building a story. The data just doesn't speak for itself. You have to make the numbers sing by creating a great story, by giving visuals that are very easy to understand and impactful, as opposed to bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, because different people learn differently. But there's also innovation in the area of how municipal council staff relations are. I think there are a lot of things that we need to do. I have my fellow CAOs and fellow staffers who say there's a lot of challenging councils out there and there are councillors behaving badly, but I challenge them. What are we doing to train those members of council who get elected to be good team players, to be leaders, to understand their role. We tend to send them to a session on pecuniary interest or the Municipal Act, but we don't actually teach them what it's like to operate on a team, and they may not have experience like that. So I think there's innovation around things like that that can happen as well.
So really throughout the municipal organization, there's lots of opportunities to kind of take that innovation lens and apply it to.
Yeah, in Whitchurch-Stouffville, we're looking at how we measure results and turn an organization into a high-performance organization by using a dashboard, KPIs to track performance, and we're already moving very quickly on that. Many municipalities aren't even doing anything on that front. So I actually did a little question out to OMA members to ask what software they used and how they track things, and I was shocked that most municipalities weren't tracking results. For me, it's really important. It's like keeping score in a hockey game. It's fun to play, but if you know what the score is, you get a little bit more competitive. There's that competitive edge.
Sure.
And so, so I think there's some innovations that we are doing in Whitchurch-Stouffville around tracking and KPIs and dashboards that we're going to share with our friends in the municipal sector as well. So.
Okay. Well, congratulations again on the new gig, and I look forward to seeing more of what you're doing there in Whitchurch-Stouffville in the future.
Well, thanks, Susan. I'm loving it. I love working with Whitchurch-Stouffville, the great people there, and congratulations to all the good stuff you do in Municipal World.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm Susan Gardner for Municipal World. Here with Rob Adams, we share your stories.